to order. So the April 9th, May 14th meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners for the Madison Police Department will commence. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept the minutes from the April 9th, 2026 meeting, which already there's I will just offer a edit that the day is missing. So it should say April 9th, 2026.
So moved.
Any discussion about the minutes? Any other edits besides that one? Okay, okay, no discussion, then just a quick approval of the minutes as edited with adding the date of the night. Any objections? Okay, great. Passes. Okay. We have members of the public here. Did you want to comment? Okay, great. If you could state your name and your address.
Hi, Dennis Cohan, 138 Horse Pond Road, Madison. You guys have seen me before. We've been kind of talking about this for a year, about the Horse Pond Road speed derby that's going on there. But we had noticed the minutes, I believe maybe a couple board meetings, committee meetings before, where that speed camera or sensing device had been put on the road. And I didn't know if there was a typo. That's kind of the first thing I wanted to ask, because I thought I remembered it saying that it was there for a week and there was 9,100 vehicles, 1,300 a day, the majority of which were speeding, and one car clocked at 49 miles an hour. It almost, as just a resident, it was sounded crazy to me that there's 1,300 people on our road, and now we know they're all speeding, or the vast majority of them are speeding. It just seemed to make the problem even more critical in my mind. Like, I would believe, I don't know, a couple hundred cars a day or something, but that's 1,300 cars a day. So I'm wondering if was there a decimal error in those, really, it's like, that's just a legit question. I'm kind of wondering what the data was. Was there anybody that remembered that, or any comments about that?
Michael was going to look through the February minutes, but
Okay.
we discussed it
Yeah.
multiple times and confirmed with you what the numbers were, so I don't
Okay.
think it was a typo.
Yeah. Okay. So it's really significant level of traffic that we now have confirmed is, many of them speeding on the road. And, I just have to be upfront and honest with you guys. I'm just everybody wants everything yesterday, right? But we've been talking about this for a year, and this data has just borne out that they don't care about the speed limit signs. They don't care if there's an officer there occasionally or whatever the routine is for that. There is a massive amount of people on that road that are speeding. And as we get into the summer months where the bikes come out, the strollers on that road, the walkers, I know Bob's walking every day, my wife's walking every day. My next door neighbors, my little kids riding out to the edge of the road. It's really bad. I don't know how else to impress it upon you, but those kind of numbers on top of the dialogue we've been having is it's just downright scary, And there are other things that, like that big corner on Horse Pond Road where, what is it? I guess it's northbound traffic, but I would wager a guess that every other car is over the double yellow line. Like, nobody seems to be able to negotiate that corner without going over the double yellow. And I know the chief had talked about that, at one point when we were talking about it, but you could do rumble strips on that corner, which there is on Route 1 from downtown all the way to Guilford on every corner, So that's a fairly easy thing to do to control traffic on that corner, which I think is probably the most dangerous part on there. But there is the 5 intersecting roads, and just planting a stop sign would do so much. And we talked about that months and months ago, and here we are. And the data there is supporting what we've been talking about. So I'm just really concerned, and I wish things could go faster, is what I'm trying to express. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Before you say anything, did you want to make a public comment also?
Yes.
Okay, why don't we do that, and then we'll have the chief.
Hi, Bob Cipriano, 148 Horse Pond Road. Like I said, AKA Madison Speedway. Denial is more than a river in India. It's been on for so long, and it's very frustrating. There's a significant difference between correlation and causation. And what I'm seeing is that the data that you had, or 9100 or whatever, is mitigated when it was in the cold months. Now I look out and I see, I won't walk anymore because I fell in the hospital for 10 days with people right around that corner that Dennis alluded to. It's scary, and something is going to happen. It's not if it's going to happen, it's when it happens. The people, both male and female, walk their babies in a carriage out there. There are walkers, there are joggers, there are bikers. Now with the beaches going to be open, it's going to magnify the problem significantly. And as I said before, a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit, why can't it be moved to 25 miles an hour? Then they won't go 50 like they're doing. Maybe they'll only go 30 or something like that. They're going to speed anyway, we think. And what about like rumble strips or we talked about some stop signs. I thought that the chief was talking about that a while ago also. I mean, it's just frustrating. We should be proactive with this. I don't want, on my conscience, that I didn't come here, to speak with you good people, that if somebody gets killed on there, and it's going to happen. I mean, you can't deny this anymore. I mean, it's been a while. We've come here in good faith. It's very frustrating because it's going to happen. That's all that I'm going to say. And then whose conscience is that on?
Well, thank you both for coming back again. We think it was in the March minutes, and of course I didn't bring those with us about the data, but we'll look back at that. The reason, I mean, the chief can talk about this, but the reason they got that device to measure the traffic there was because of you guys and your neighbors coming here and talking about this. What we also talked about in that meeting, I recall, is having that device placed in other high traffic areas of town, sort of similar, to see, because in isolation, it did seem like a lot of traffic. We were all kind of surprised. And I think it probably isn't dissimilar in other parts of town who have also come to, this commission and expressed, their concerns as well. But we would love to, be able to address this immediately, but it does work slowly. So, Chief, it doesn't, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna finish by saying that doesn't mean that we're not taking your concerns extremely seriously. Yeah.
I'm happy to address that. Well, first of all, it's my last day of vacation. I got off a flight and I wanted to not miss this meeting. So I have an interview, but after you were here the last time, we contacted the very next day T1 from DOT. I believe that the captain went to your house and knocked on the door and told you that we would be there next week to do the study.
That's because we were in Arizona.
Yes, and the numbers on the study are somewhat correct. They are. There's a lot of traffic on that road, like on other roads. In front of this building has about 6,000 a day that go by. The ramps cover about 7,000. It's hard to believe. You say, no, it's not possible. It is.
Is it measuring both directions?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So we have made requests. The policy is I have to go through our engineering. I was asked last year that I start requesting through the engineer office for requests for signs, requests for speed signs, and I've done that. We have that documented. What we're going to be doing is taking one of the signs that I have on Route 1 and move it over there temporarily. That was a discussion week before last. I've made that request. I've also made the request for 2 signs, speed signs, one for the other end and one for down by Windermere on Route 1. Those folks have been waiting also for a long time.
Will they be 30-mile-an-hour signs?
What's that, sir?
Would that be 30-mile-an-hour signs?
No, those aren't speeds, those are speed reading signs.
Yeah.
The blinking signs that tell you your speed to slow down, that's what those are. The actual speed signs, I believe they put 2 on the street. I requested that they go up and down the street. I walked up and down the street with our Public Works, and I made my recommendation. I believe they put 2 signs on the road.
Yes.
Okay.
I think they did more than that.
Well, I hope they did.
Yeah.
Since, we talked about it recently, a meeting less than a month and a half ago. I get as frustrated as you do. You can hear it in my voice. I ask and ask, but I need the tools to do that. I can't just arbitrarily order these signs, and I have tried my best to get as much as I can get done for you. We do selective enforcement on that road as we do on the other roads where we have problems, and we go with the tools that we have. In the case, what I mean by tools, I have 3 to 5 officers per shift. I have them once the schools, people are in schools, I have them go out and run radar around town in various locations, generally are high impact areas. Your road is one of them. I believe when they were out there last time, they did 3 days and wrote about 113,
Something on there.
yeah, 113 warnings and tickets. So we're gonna continue to do best we can to monitor that road. We're going to attempt to put a sign there very soon. As far as stop signs, the municipal code does not want you to use stop signs to slow people down. They put stop signs at basically crossing areas / intersections. That curve there, I agree with you, you could use the yellow with the grind. They grind it down, they put the markings. I agree with you, that would be, but once again, I have to make that request to Public Works and through engineering. I don't have the facility nor do I have the work to do it, I can't. But I'll make the request for you. I'll make sure I do that probably by Monday of next week. All right, so you get closure on this. Your road is, a lot of people cut through there to go downtown. A lot of people cut through there to avoid traffic. They find their way in a circuitous route to get up Route 1 and then go north. If there's an accident on 95, they find other ways. So what's actually a lot worse than your road is Green Hill, which is a problem for us also.
Right.
Especially people that are coming from the towns to the east of us, trying to get to I-95, and then they cut through on Wildwood and they come up, they try to avoid the traffic. If there's an accident on the highway, then all the diversionary routes are going into effect. That's Route 1, that's your road, that's Green Hill. It's very frustrating, and I feel and I share the frustration that you're telling us today. We'll make the best effort that we can to address that, especially with the summer months. We have 4 officers going into the academy because we're short 4 officers, and we have one sitting out there right now. I'm going to interview after this meeting's over. We're going to give it the best effort that we can. But I'm telling you what we've done so far to address the issues that you have brought here in this meeting, actually 3 times.
So to be clear, are you saying that we're not ever gonna get stop signs?
On a curve? Probably not.
Not on a curve, on just, that mile section of road with 5 intersecting side streets.
You can't, there's a
Right.
standard in DOT when they do studies, there's a standard. They discourage you, and on state roads will tell you you cannot use a stop sign as a device to slow down traffic. You use speed, no, because it actually causes more accidents. You use devices, you use traffic reduction techniques, that's speed signs that lower speed, blinking signs, slow down, curb. That'd be more appropriate in that curb. You live on a road that's dangerous. There's no doubt. It's not. It would be wonderful if we had sidewalks on those roads, but we don't. You have to use caution, get on those roads. I bike. It's very dangerous on the roads. But we're doing the best. I just want you to think. I want you to understand we're doing the best we can with the tools we have right now, and we've been asked and made the request on your behalf. And the fact that we were able to get that study so quickly was amazing. And I'm glad that they gave us the information, because the information gave us what we needed to say, hey, I need these speed signs from the other building over there. I need you to fund these signs, sooner the better, but I'll get on that on Monday, I promise.
Okay,
And I'll get back to you before the end of the week.
all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you for coming. Thanks, Chief. Why don't we move on to the chief's report?
I'll
Captain
co-file
Harkins?
that.
Okay, for the month of April, there was some overtime replacement due to being down to 3 officers. Additionally, we have another officer currently on late duty, which is causing overtime expenditures to replace him so that we have the proper staffing in the field. Well, we will offset that overtime with being under budget and wages. That's pretty much it as far as any budget change.
I just add one piece to that. I talked with Stacy, our finance officer, last week. I'm gonna be meeting with her next week. Couple things. We're gonna use the unencumbered wage line for the vacancies to offset some of the overtime lines, with the exception of one. They were gonna use it for the highway construction. I said, no, you budget 35. We go over that because we have more projects and this is how they elect to do this. We've talked about this before.
Yep.
I said that if that money that comes back, that we charge the vendors, the contractors, road, water company, that always comes back 2-3 times what they budget for that. So what I would like them to do, and she agreed, is that the Board of Selectmen approve that a special appropriation to cover that amount, the amount that it's over. But also an explanation that we've also brought in almost more than double that. So outside that, everything probably in the next couple of weeks is gonna go to 0 because of the, taking the unencumbered wage and offsetting the overtime and any other wages that were used, investigations, et cetera.
Great. Any questions from commissioners about?
Thank you.
And also, we probably should note that the Madison's budget was passed in the referendum that was voted on at the end of April, so the budget for the police department was approved going into next fiscal year. Okay, training?
So for training, in the month of April, we participated in 182 hours of total training. The training consisted of interviewing techniques and admissions and confessions, so it's basically like an interview and interrogation training course that we did with our online provider. 5 of our officers recertified with their EMR first responder license with the state of Connecticut. That is a 16-hour, it's a 2-day course that we have been starting to utilize Madison Ambulance as our instructors for that course. So it's good to build that relationship. They could also show what they're expecting of the officers before the EMTs and the paramedics arrive. So it's a great co-training going on with that. I attended a 2-day background investigation. Yep.
So every officer is certified in EMR training?
Yeah, some are actually EMTs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I believe we have 3 officers that are EMT, so they're actually the higher level certifications.
And that, the reason for that is just based on their training orientation?
And also because we hold the public service answering point, the PSAP. So
Alright.
it's a requirement that, our officers have that training.
Our cars respond to medical calls.
Yep.
Oxygen, defib.
But you said some have an EMT, which is higher than an EMR?
Yeah, the basic level we have to have is the EMR.
Right.
So it's EMR, EMT, paramedic. And then if we really were, it wouldn't even count, but like CPR, like a CPR certification is like the very first elementary level, if you look at it that way. So just to continue, I attended a 2-day background investigations course, just to learn the new techniques. And also that's one of our CALIA accreditation requirements. And then just, our monthly housekeeping ones, the SWAT training and our Collect NCIC certification.
Great, thank you. Traffic report?
Traffic. In April, the Madison Police Department responded to a total of 22 motor vehicle accidents. Of these, 3 resulted in injuries. 10 accidents involved property damage only, while 6 occurred on private property. Additionally, 3 of these incidents involved a party evading responsibility. And the primary causes of these accidents were following too close and unsafe movement from a stop position.
Okay. agenda is recruitment. Is there an update on recruitment?
Well, just other than the testing and backgrounds are underway for the 3 candidates, and we have a 4th officer today that obviously we're gonna interview this afternoon, this evening. I mean, that's where we're at. We're still in the testing process for the 3.
We had talked about the possibility of trying to utilize these, the individuals who would be going into the academy as possible interns during the summer. Is there any possibility of that, or likelihood of that?
It's gonna happen.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
The academy's not gonna start for them
Yeah,
until August, so
August.
we're gonna have the luxury of having these bodies to help us, especially with the anniversary of Madison, all the events in July, and of course, our nation's birthday.
It's a great, it's a great move, getting them oriented, you know, kind of starting to absorb what it's like to be in the town, et cetera. It's a good move.
Do we know what their start date will be?
Last way, it's post July 1st.
Post July
Budget,
1st?
Yeah.
Okay,
With the
Great.
exception, if you were to go with the lateral today,
yeah,
that person just starts ASAP.
okay, great. Community calendar?
Community calendar, Touch a Truck was on April 26th. The Madison newcomers hosted it at the Surf Club. It was a very nice turnout. We had the Sensory Day Touch a Truck at Madison Earth Care. It occurred on May 2nd. It was an event to expose neurodivergent individuals and their families to the opportunity to explore first responders and their vehicles in a calm environment. So they can get used to it, and introduce them to the cars and the first responders, so that if there is an emergency, they're familiar. On May 25th, we'll be having the Memorial Day Parade, so we're preparing that now. And that's it.
Actually, I have a question. We update on the events for July from the week of the parade, the week of the concert, the week of the fireworks,
So-
the events at the Surf Club for the anniversary.
So the 27th of June is the Strawberry Festival at the Surf Club. We have a meeting with, the committee's hosting a meeting at the end of the month on the 27th. I'm just trying to find the email on that. So yes, so that's a concert inside the club. They're gonna have an events pretty much all day. It'll start probably around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, or noon. I think they're starting out with a mural, a display of a mural there, and then it's gonna have concerts all day. I think there's 2 acts. Don't know the actual act. I think they're still finalizing all that. And then you're gonna have some support groups like School Rock, et cetera, that's gonna be there as well. In speaking with Dawn Jackson, who's a co-chair of the 200 committee, she said that they are, and talking with Peggy today, that they are discussing shuttle buses. So they're still finalizing on what we're gonna do once the Surf Club becomes full. Similar to the fireworks, if you will. They won't have as many buses as the fireworks, but they're still talking about whether they're going to incorporate a shuttle service for people if they park, say at Stop and Shop or the commuter lot. That'll all be, posted well before, so people know where to go. But that's pretty much it. I'm looking forward to this meeting. We have one set up for May 21st. We're gonna go over a lot of that. I'll get a better idea as far as how many officers we're gonna require for security and for traffic. So that's ongoing. The fireworks are on the 2nd, July 2nd. The concert on the Green is gonna be on the 3rd, and the parade will be on the 4th for July. A rain date for the fireworks is the 10th, so it's the following Friday. It's a little bit of a ways away, but I think they want people not have to go to work the next day, so. So that's it, yeah.
Any correspondence?
A couple of requests for traffic studies, which, one comes from Neck Road. That road's a good example of what we've done, a couple of studies on that. We've added signs, speed device. That also is a road that it's very hard as a pedestrian or a bicyclist to traverse in the summer months especially. Again, as we rotate the regional traffic, as we rotate our own patrols around there, more available obviously after school closes, we address that.
Excuse me, is this request different for a different area
No,
than?
it's the same. We sent a letter out immediately explaining that we've had the study done twice and what efforts we've done and what we'll continue to do. Remember, every request I also immediately respond, we immediately make the request across the street for the policy and procedure that they've asked me to follow.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Traffic issues, any other issues?
It's we'll call a state agency and a current issue. I did talk to the DOT again, and you asked, I believe you had an email asking that we explain some of the changes to the traffic signals to get up I-95 and the
Yes.
construction. Okay.
Yes.
That initial request was about 4 years ago for the state of Connecticut. I want you to feel my pain. So, they're finally doing what we've asked a long time ago, right, Ed? Many years.
A long time.
And so we asked that they put a light there because it is dangerous. We asked that they also, where you go southbound on 95, change the light there. We asked Green Hill, and they've actually had reinstalled and put the devices there. But there's been a request for a left turn recently on Green Hill, you know, because of the traffic backup at school. I did talk to DOT about that. They said no. They told Senator Cohen no. They said that you would have to take a lane, create a lane. That would involve taking property, and at this point, they're not going to do that. The traffic count doesn't show them outside of, yes, it's a backup during school hours, but other than that, they feel that it has to be a full control, particularly with the amount of traffic that does go between the towns, as we spoke about earlier. Route 1 and 79, by the Essex Savings Bank in 79. There's a lot of things going on. There's different projects. One was the sidewalks. You've watched them come into fruition within the last probably 2 years. There's gonna be additional work done there. They're talking about some sort of pathway to the train station, and that would probably be another creation down the road of a flyover to accommodate that. But right now, with them, they put the sidewalks in to get them south towards downtown, make it so it's accessible with sidewalks. So all those traffic signals, Route 79, Route 1, Bradley, Route 1, up to the highway will all be synchronized, and they also have the latest technologies for recognizing traffic flow. One thing that I'm not really a fan of is they have a different type of traffic signals now for, correction, a crosswalk procedure. What it does is it will stop at 4-way, then it goes to 2-way. The light turns green and it gives a warning that, but what we're finding is some people are still in the middle of the intersection when it occurs. Because of the sidewalks that have been created, people that are living in those condos up on the other side of Essex, they're walking to what they want to do, go downtown, walk their dog, walk. So they brought it to our attention, we were unaware of it. And so we looked into it, Doug looked into it with DOT, and they explained it out, that's their new technology. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not sure, I think we requested they add additional signage so people understand that. So that's what's going on between the corridor of 95 down to 79 Route 1. I put the request in for 79 Route 1 with DOT as we spoke of last meeting, and also at Sampson Rock and Route 1. We had the discussion with a couple of citizens that came in requesting that we extend the length of the crosswalk. We increased the audible on the crosswalk, and they also requested no right-hand turn on red. They're going to increase the volume of the crosswalk. They're going to extend it. They are not going to put they're not going to prevent a right turn on red, but they're going to put signage at some point that says yield to pedestrian and crosswalk. For those that are, some people go right by the post office there, and they go 2 wheels, make a right-hand turn. and somebody's in a crosswalk, law is you don't make a right, you don't move, you're in an intersection, and someone's in a crosswalk, the light is showing it's in the benefit of the crosswalk, for the pedestrian, you can't move, but people do. They just assume it's right turn on red, get out of my way sometimes, and we enforce that. So that's the whole route downtown, New Road, all through there, correction at New Road, Bradley Road, and going up. That's the latest and greatest, and I talked to them last week, the chief engineer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah,
If I,
please, go ahead.
I think we need to help inform the public about all of these wonderful things. And I think it might be appropriate to put this on a selectmen's agenda. Not that you don't have a wide audience here, but an ever wider audience, I think, should be apprised of all the things the chief has just reported on. And I just think we ought to get the word out that both for drivers and pedestrians, that there are changes afoot here.
Yes, there's a lot of changes that are also needed. We just need that people that have the authority to say yes or no to us, grant that so we can get it done, so people don't agonize over the change. And that seems to be a common theme. And when I go out aggressively to do it on behalf of myself, the police commissioner, and his department, I ask, don't do that. You know, so I have expenses in there now for traffic control signals, one on these gentlemen's road. I really would like that, you know, I follow the procedure they've asked me to do, but I'd like them to approve it. Have the engineer do their job.
Well, perhaps it's time for an update on changes in traffic and pedestrian patterns. And if you think the time's appropriate, I will try to set this in motion. Is this ready for more public consumption?
The question, you know, a lot of this was driven just through the years. When we added the additional housing on Route 1, where the area of Donahue's, where the Salt Meadow, all there, it's increasing the traffic. You can see it build up, especially in the summer, people are walking on the road. I put those crosswalks there at the expense of the department, through my budget, on the two side streets. I can't put them across Route 1, I don't have the authority. I need the state to cooperate, but, you know, we're still waiting, what, 3.5 years on West Wharf?
I thought the construction was starting this year on that sidewalk. And anyway, I think there's a number of issues that the public, through this Board of Selectmen, should be updated on. That's my whole point.
Well,
And if it's timely, I will get that started.
Yes, I think that's a great idea, Al. Please do get started. And to that point about also advertising or marketing to the public, you know, we were talking with the Officer Walls, who does the social media for the department, and he put up there the other week about this, you know, just what you said, to please observe the rule that you should not turn right on red if there's somebody in the crosswalk. You probably shouldn't turn right on red regardless until you see that it's completely clear. And then in addition, today there was another post about locking your car. So for those folks who do watch our broadcast, just a reminder to follow Madison PD on Facebook and get all the latest and greatest information about how to keep you and your family safe and what the rules of the road are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The other was the state agencies came up.
Yeah.
I had a meeting, I held a meeting up at the state legislature for racial prohibition project, IMRP, and UConn, and our state senate. It was a very good meeting. There are some changes in the law that are coming down that's going to affect us. It's the latest and greatest for license plate readers. They've, and the change in the statute, I think it's 21 days. So 21 days, it has to be dumped, that information. Which is ironic, because the body cams, they want you to keep for 90 days. So that's going to take effect. There's a couple other, I think you're going to see the MSW as a law this, with the next General Assembly is going to happen. They're doing more research going forward. We've already obviously taken that step. And I have to say that our MSW is doing one heck of a job and has really stopped us from a lot of the repeat responses to people in crisis you know, she's found them a path, which is very important. So I think, well, certainly she's doing a great job. It most certainly has had an effect in this community, and most certainly there was a need for that.
Mhm.
So,
I saw an item, it must have been online, that there was a group of Daniel Hand students who participated in a training. Can you talk about that, or?
Actually, that was, is that done? That was Alice program for,
Yeah, so I could elaborate on
Okay.
that. So a parent reached out to the police department, a parent of, you know, obviously a female teenager at Daniel Land High School, wanted to do, like a safety presentation, for his daughter, and he was speaking with, other fathers and everything, like, oh, 100%, I'd be fully on board with that. So they reached out to the police department, and, Officer Strickland and Maya, our police social worker, they had a 2-hour meeting here. It was a half day at school. So we held it here in the community room. We had close to 15 young females from Daniel Land High School. Did all about, you know, general safety out in public. Officer Strickland left the room, and Maya had a candid conversation about healthy relationships and everything. It was really a great time, and I saw a couple of the parents on the way out, and they were saying how much they, you know, love this idea. So the very next day after we posted on Facebook, I had an email from Vista over on Bradley Road. We're gonna go in June to give the same presentation to the residents that live over there in Vista, so,
Terrific.
yeah.
Great.
thank you.
And I could give another example with the great things that Maya's doing. Today, we had an individual come in looking to speak with a female officer. We had no female officers working, but we said, hey, we have Maya working. She met with the individual for an hour and a half and assisted the officers with that investigation. So it was a tremendous help, and the woman really appreciated having Maya on the staff there, so, yeah.
Awesome.
The only other I have is, we met with the new chief of Old Saybrook. This is number 2. Town of Clinton and us. The town manager was there because she was involved with we share a regional animal control. Originally was Westbrook, Clinton, and Madison. There's $250,000 from the state grant to rehab the kennel. We've all contributed to add to that, to, you know, example, replace the heat, air conditioning, cold, hot water, the runs, things like that. It's a lot of maintenance that goes into that. Westbrook opted out probably 2 years ago, which is fine by us. They were using the Essex kennel, and Essex, I guess, is going to be trying to build a very large kennel, and they're probably going to pursue that. The town of Old Saybrook has a facility, but they're going to be closing that with the building of their public works garage. So they asked to join in, equal partner, contribute, and the regionalization of the animal shelter, ACO. Things that I and Vinny, the Chief DeMayo from Clinton spoke with the chief for the town of Old Saybrook was that, listen, we have a very good relationship with our intertown, our ACOs go between the towns, our officers go between the towns to assist. I wanted to hear what you're going to put on the table to do this. And they want to be a full partner. So we asked the Clinton chief, who's going to be putting together a draft of an agreement through their council, and then we'll be coming back to our board of selectmen and our board of police commission for an approval. I don't see any problem with it. I think it will work very well. They also wanted to have a discussion about certain other regional services, sharing of certain services. So that's down the road, but that occurred a week before last. I really like the town manager in the town of Clinton. She's very aggressive. We did also meet with the first selectman of Old Saybrook, and he's 110% behind us. So
Do we have the capacity in our
they do,
facility?
but we're trying to figure out innovative ways. I was hoping we were going to get one of the portable classrooms, but they're ready to be demolished. So we're going to put it over where we also share the regional, the gun range, the training facility. We've put a canopy, we've done enhancements there, the town's all equally shared. So now we're trying to put a portable classroom there. So that may turn into, don't laugh, a container where they could make it like an office. They could put a classroom in there, take 2 containers and put it there. But while we're on that thought process, I said, could we do that and add that to the animal control to make the increase in runs? And they can't. You know, this is, I know when I was overseas, we used those to make offices, building for command and control in different areas. It was the container was nothing, but they just went in and put in the sheetrock, and they essentially insulated them, put in those units, the separate ones, the heat and air, and it worked. You know, and they last. So we're talking about different things we could do to enhance that at least impact to our taxpayers. In an innovative way. There may be some grants out there continuing. We did talk with the animal control for the state of Connecticut. That's kind of again, it's when people start retiring and people leaving that service, they seem to be scrambling to keep that thing in the right direction. And that's what's going on currently. We have excellent, our ACO and Clinton's ACO are tremendous. They work hard, you know. We're very fortunate that we have Liz. The town of Old Saybrook has 2 per diem, but they're gonna change that. So that's about the information we have. The cost isn't, it's not a lot, you know, their contribution. And we also, as you we share when they were looking for marine support, you know, a police boat. Our fire department is very robust in that. I don't need a Navy. We contributed whatever money came our way to help the town of Clinton and Old Saybrook, and they will continue that support. If you looked out on the ocean, on the water, the sound during the events, you'll see why is the Old Saybrook and why is the Clinton boat here? It's because we share the services, we contribute. It's not a lot, it's like $4,000 annually, but that's one of the things we do share. I think a lot of people aren't aware, we probably should make them aware of it, Al, is what services we already do share with our neighbors and partners. So what are you showing me here?
Oh, that's just the expenditure for the range and for
Okay,
animal control.
it's already budgeted. Okay. So I just wanted to pass that by and
Any other concerns, like, besides capacity, any other things to be aware of if we were to, take them on as a full partner?
we're trying to be innovative, all 3 chiefs, and we're very concerned with the neighbors that surround these facilities. It's like the range, nobody wants a range in their town. That range has been there for a long time. So we limit qualifying on weekends or other types of weapons, you know. Nobody wants to be in the backyard, 1.5 miles away here like machine gun fire.
Right.
Yeah. So we control that. So some of the things in the equipment, we've changed some of the, we use practical pistol courses, which are certified federally and state level requirement for policing. We used to have like a Hogan's Alley, there was a training, that's been moved, they're getting rid of those, I understand. Want to make room for like a training, that small classroom within, because we don't put a lot of people on the line. We'll put 6, maybe 8 people qualifying, and we rotate them through different, what do they call it? Essentially, they're taking turns.
Right.
They have different relays, and that's how we do it. And it's been very successful my time here, and hopefully
But I
this
mean,
one.
for the animal, for sharing the animal control responsibilities, any
You have to make sure that we
concerns
follow and comply with state and federal law, and that has to do with how we house them. You gotta remember, we get a dog, and we put him in the kennel, and if it's maybe even a court order surrounding that. And so that dog may be in our custody for a period of time, many months. That means that we're walking it, we're feeding it, we're doing everything you're supposed to do, you do it to the animal at your home.
Right.
You know, so we try to, currently, Clinton and Madison kind of take turns, rotate with each other. We share it.
Right.
Ed, you're smiling, why?
You love dogs, right?
I love dogs. I hope, in addition to, you know, sharing dog biscuit expense, at some point, you know, we could talk about other potential aspects of regionalization. I know Peggy was looking at the conference, related towns along the shore, and I don't know if it's would be appropriate, if you had any update in terms of where the exploration,
I have no update.
so it's right on schedule. Okay.
Okay, great, thank you for all that. I don't think we have any more old business, or do we? Any more old business? No, okay, should we move to, did you have anything else?
New
Captain?
business too.
Okay, no, I guess I skipped that, yeah, sorry.
Just to let you know, the Madison Exchange Club is hosting their Officer of the Year for Madison. It's being held on May 20th at the American Legion. Officer Jeff Kudo has been nominated. If you'd like to attend, please reach out to Holly Burke, and she can get you squared away.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any other new business?
Just the interview after.
Yes.
April.
Yeah. Commissioner comments. Amy?
Nothing for me?
Michael?
Actually, I do want to just thank, my daughter's birthday was a couple weeks ago, and I called, my daughter is obsessed with the police department, which I love, and I spoke to Sergeant Rosati and asked if there was anybody patrolling up North Madison, if they could just stop for a few minutes. And I apologize, I can't remember what the officer's name was, can't remember what happened this morning, so it's been a couple weeks already, but he came down, he brought one of the SUVs. My daughter and my young niece and my nephews, they got a chance to crawl around in the car, and everybody had a really great time, and I just want to extend how grateful we were for that.
I think it was Officer Kudo.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
great.
So then maybe I'll reach out to Holly, then I'll have to make an appearance.
Officer of
But I
the Year.
wanted to thank that because they really loved it.
Great. Ed?
Nope, I think we covered it.
Okay, me too, nothing. All right, so with that, we'll conclude the May meeting.